Boom, 6 risk reward, back-to-back winners, 100% win rate. This is the exact trading strategy I'm gonna go over in today's video on how I was able to do so. 2 trades are 4 risk reward and 2 risk reward, only taking longs today because why? My draw on liquidity was the high time frame all-time highs. I even sent this out to the private trading group. If you're in the course, you get access to the private trading chat channel with my executions, and I told everyone here, man, after we hit the 4 risk reward, if you took the longs there, that draw on liquidity is all-time highs for today. We were looking for longs only, and I'm telling everyone, look for the stop hunter setup. And if that fails, wait for the 50% pullback to trade the expansion for weak highs, because this is my draw. And I told everyone we may be able to create new ranges here if price continues internally without any major pullback. And I kid you not, this is exactly what happened today. We didn't have any major pullback to 50%. Traded a stop hunter here, and if you held all the way, congratulations on 4.74 risk reward. I had a trail stop loss here. I sent out to the group later. I scrolled down here that I told everyone you could trail my stop loss there. I actually, fortunately, because of my sizing, I got stopped out here about a tick right here. Usually I give it one wiggle room space for my trail stop loss, but in this case, human error here, and it stopped me out, and I paid for it because I missed out on another almost 3 risk reward. But that's okay, because if you held the whole trade, congratulations, but you would have had to hold almost to basic market closure, and I'm not really a fan of holding trades for 4 hours long. It's a lot more stressful holding trades that way unless you leave the charts. So I do recommend most people to leave the charts, but even then, I'm not a fan of holding one trade for 4 hours because typically you can make more money by scalping between low, where I entered, towards the high. There's scalps to go short, there's scalps to go longs. There's no scalp to go short, there's scalps to go longs, right? You could have probably made more risk reward trading this mitigation internal continuation here using my strategy if you want to, but I'm not a big fan of trading internal continuations like you may know. I like to focus on bigger moves or the initial move, which started down here, and I took a continuation of that initial move here with the stop hunter setup. Those are the 2 trades I took today. Again, if you just take my bias, I tell you guys, for the course members, man, you would be green today. Most members here today ended green, which is good to see, and 83% of the YouTube chat ended green, so that's awesome. Keep in mind, man, tell everyone here, this is a B+ rating setup, and I told everyone you could also go break even at the high. So if you want to go break even at the high here, you could have, or move your stop loss covering this low here, but ultimately ran 4.74 risk reward. Now let's go over the first trade since we went over the second trade. If you're wondering how I entered this trade, I can't cover it in today's video. This is some secret sauce that's only covered in the course. So if you want to learn how I took this exact entry and what is criteria to get into these good setups like this that have a very good risk reward and win rate, check out the course link down below and the mentorship. We only have 1 spot left for that. So the first long here is off a POC. So if we go to the 30-minute, it's a POC on the 30-minute and the 15-minute. If you go to the 1 hour, there's nothing there on the 1 hour. POI is too far away. I also talk about this within the course. So we're not really looking for that. We're looking for a 30-minute or some POC when we have a huge gap like this. And we have inducement here. We tend to run inducement whenever we get a huge gap like this, and to run inducement, tap into POC and go higher instead of fully going all the way back down to like something down here, which is almost never going to hit. I took the entry here for 4 risk reward target. Very straightforward. It's just a weak high, man. Nothing too much else to explain on this trade. Took my entry model, waited for confirmation. That's it. Now, some people may ask, why did I not take this trade? This is some secret sauce also covered within the course. I'm not going to talk about in today's free trade little recap. I feel like you give enough sauce for free on YouTube, so I'm not going to cover this reason why, how you can avoid basically taking this invalid setup here. Everyone in the course already knows why you should not be taking that trade or setup. It's a low probability. You can take it, not saying you can't, but it's low probability. I like to focus on higher probability setups. So once we get that internal sweep here, we look for entry. We got OB entry model, boom. 4 risk reward, 4.56 to be specific. You just hold it all the way. If you're wondering what I've marked here, this is just a 30-second POI. So if you go on the seconds time frame, you'll be able to see we have a demand here on the seconds, and the seconds held. So if you missed the initial entry, you could have even scaled in or entered up here. It's not as ideal as here because your stop loss here is much better than if you entered up here. Your stop loss would be huge, and you could risk getting stopped out early if you had aggressive stop loss. So that's why I like to take the initial entry, like I tell you guys all the time. But of course, sure, you have a higher win rate in a sense if you take bigger risk reward trades like this or bigger stop losses like this. But in my personal opinion, I'm a bigger fan of giving more wiggle room for me to manage my trade in case of break-even liquidity, which is basically when price comes back to a break-even point as liquidity and continues higher, because when you get stopped out break-even, it generates liquidity for the market to get more buy orders to continue in the high time frame direction. And remember, on the high time frame, we are bullish, so you should not be looking for shorts. All right, if you're shorting today in high day, that's why you lost. We have 1 hour demand here. We tapped into. We held this 1 hour demand from yesterday here, and so this is why I was looking for us to go higher. We took out previous day high, we're going higher. Now that the first trade is explained today, I guess we have a lot more time here. It's only about 6 minutes into the video. I'll go over this trade I took last night while I was going over another trade recap. I was concurrently holding a trade, and it was a long setup here during the 8 session. Here you can see during the 8 session, we have the opening candle here at 8 o'clock. So mark it right here. Usually the opening candle, you can use as a data wick if you want. We tend to actually sweep these candles. So you can use them as an entry model if you want to just trade off the sweeps. Otherwise, I wait for, my entry would have been here already or somewhere here. But I don't like to enter my trades before the market open or kill zone open, because we tend to get a huge spike candle at times, especially on gold. On ES, it's not as prevalent because it's ES. But nonetheless, it's not worth it to me because I'm on a live account, live personal, where there's slippage. I can lose 2 to 3 risk reward if I'm not careful. So I like to enter basically after the opening. And if I'm in a trade, I'll probably move to break even before that. If you're on a prop firm, you don't need to worry about slippage. So you can honestly hold through your trade if you entered here early. But for me, on a live account, it's good habits to just go break even or just wait until the opening candle forms first and then take your entry, because sometimes we'll get a massive wick, stops you out, and then you get your entry model to go in the direction you were intending to. And you can see the TP hit to exact tick. My target was a trend line liquidity here. We have a PY right above here, and boom, we absolutely tanked as soon as we hit my POY, man, or my TP. Absolutely crazy, but of course I couldn't catch it short. I was asleep at this point. This is a trade that I'm holding basically overnight while I'm sleeping, right? This is the power of my trading system. You don't have to be actively managing your trade. You just set and forget, and you can just make money while you're sleeping like this. Usually I make money while I'm sleeping during 8 session trades that I find a good opportunity. Either find the high or low of 8 session. I trade that using my entry model I teach y'all, and then I just set and forget. But for a New York session, obviously I'm not going to sleep through a New York session. Doesn't make sense for my time zone. But usually for 8 session trades that are either far targets or trades I'm looking for a bigger swing position or move, like the 22 risk reward setup that you could have taken, given a few tries the other, I think it was last week, something like that. You know, if you're in the free Discord, you probably have seen that trade or in a paid chat. Otherwise, forget about it. But this is my trade here. You can enter and confirm on the seconds if you like, but I'm basically waiting for the price to come back to where my initial entry would have been. Yes, you can honestly wait and probably enter up here. The risk reward is not the best. I'm not saying you can't take it, but I entered down here, around here, got filled there, and it was perfect because we tend to sweep the opening candle. So I was looking kind of for see if we could sweep and manipulate below it. We made basically equal lows here. If you're on micros, I'm on minis, but if you're trading micros, you might have gotten a wick here. Micros are more wicky than minis more often than not. And so that could have happened there. So I took an entry here. You just have a limit order here basically. Or if you're fast enough in time, you can market order, but limit orders work best because if you market order sometimes, if it's like a 1 second wick, you could get filled up here instead, which you can see it messes up your risk reward by almost double. So not ideal. Let me move my stop or entry. My entry was here, right there. So there's 8.6 risk reward, just targeting the trend line liquidity right here basically. And you can even target past it to the PY if you like, but trend liquidity is good enough for me. It's not a huge risk reward difference here. If you want to take action today and become a profitable, consistent trader and go full time just like me, click the link down below to apply for a one-on-one mentorship. Peace.